When my team wins a big game, it's good. But when my team doesn't win the big game, you better look out, Buster. I'm a loose cannon. This is not good at all.
It's a Too Much Dip podcast. I'm Dave. Stomach bug gone, feeling good, got a pump in, ready to do some podcasting. Always in studio producing. Randy's here.
Hi, Dave.
How about them Boilermakers?
They performed about as good as I thought they were going to.
Not good at all.
Not good at all.
Ugh. My Friday night was centered around that.
They will probably win one game this whole season. So
I'm sorry, man.
No, it's fine. I thought for sure they're going to be able to beat IU, and then IU's like 7-0. So no chance that's happening.
Yeah, it turns out they're pretty good.
Yeah.
When those teams get together, though, typically, historically speaking.
Yeah, the old oak and bucket.
That's right. Here's an old oak in a bucket, an old Dillon Shivery. Just an old chunk of oak.
Big of me to show up today. Oh, Dillon, you're wrong, man. You thought Texas was going to win by 13. Look, I was wrong. But I'm here. Season's not over. I'm here. I'm ready to talk about it. Ready to take my lumps.
When my team wins a big game, it's good.
My team didn't win the big game, and that's okay. I'm here to tell you it's okay. Got some things to say that we'll get into in a bit.
So that was your Arctic freeze Celsius in the fridge?
Arctic vibe, and yes, it was.
I thought about just absolutely cavemanning it right there for content, but I just didn't.
Would you like the first sip?
No.
Okay.
No, thank you.
That was big of me, by the way.
Because you know how I am. I can't just have one sip.
Yeah, I got you.
They'd have to rename the show Too Much Sip.
Right. Because you were doing too many sips. Too much
Multiple
sipping.
sips.
Too much sipping.
Hang on, I'm getting texted here. I'm getting blown up, making sure it's not the... There we go. Randy, let's introduce a guy. Sorry, the baby's got diarrhea. So my wife's having to go pick the baby.
It's Rhea time.
Yes, sir, it is. Thank you, Randy. Here's a guy who knows nothing about that. KJ.
Well, not so fast, my friend. First, I owe you a direct apology, as I think you shared with the group text your situation Friday, that you were down and out without internet and with the Great Equalizer. My not immediate, but very next text was a quick shot of what I was picking up for dinner, which might be the lowest ranked items for somebody with tummy issues of items you might have for dinner and least appealing, as I was picking up Jets for myself. Next door is a poke bowl establishment for the wife. And after I sent that, I was like, that's just not cool. Not only is it like least appealing, but things that David might otherwise enjoy. And I'm just like, hey, here I am with a solid GI situation, enjoying life.
Man, I appreciate you keeping it 100 for me. But I don't mind. I deserve that, dude. I deserve that. I probably have been on the other side of it. It wasn't that bad. The bad part was that I was home alone. Like, once my oldest projectile vomited after baseball and got it out, he felt better. He was a little bit puny for a little bit, but he was fine. The baby's really... the changing 3 diapers in 45 minutes was a real tough time. Because diapers are a commodity. And, you get one change, you get the Aquaphor on that butt. You know what I'm saying?
It's a whole thing.
You get that thing ready to rock. You're like, nope, no diaper rash here. Maybe a little Decident or whatever on there. And then you get him all back in his PJs, all cozy. And you're like, all right. Then 8 minutes later, you smell something bad. And you're like, God bless. Got to do that all again. He doesn't like the changing table anymore. It's just a whole thing.
Well, all the best, man. I'm sorry you're going through it. I'm glad that I'm beyond that phase.
You didn't really want to expound upon that, huh?
No, I'm just I don't doo-doo talk. It's not my favorite, but I'm sorry that happened, and I'm glad that you're on the other side of it.
I feel like that's a slight exception, but I agree. Yeah, poor form when you go to potty talk in a podcast like within 5 minutes. That's on me. That is on me. Happy to be here with you, fellas. As a quick trip, can I just do a quick self what the hell's going on in my weekend? Can I knock that out real quick? I'm looking at
It's a
the
new
rundown,
segment.
realizing we got a couple things on it. I didn't die. I'll let you know in advance. Like, this is not a near-death experience. It does not go on that ledger. But in this week's of What Am I Doing here in Madison, Wisconsin, wonderful 80-degree day, beautiful fall, crisp, wonderful day. Over the weekend, I've got a to-do list like anybody does in a house, a mile long. One of the things that's on the list, because it is getting darker sooner, shout out to daylight savings about to end here, was to put up the motion cameras or motion censored lights to let the dog out. It's not pitch black dark here. It's pitch black dark like it's 7 o'clock here, maybe 6 some days during the winter. Get those out well in advance. Also throw up the security cams. I didn't feel like mounting the security camera outside because I've got 2 doors to my garage. So I put it in the garage with vantage points of both garage door and like the side door. Not realizing daily ritual of mine after doing daycare drop off is to spend a good 1 to 20 minutes in the driver's seat of the car, just contemplating everything that is in front of me before I like go into work. And then I realized here I am just sitting on camera, sitting outside the house, in the garage, in the car.
Oh, no.
Car was not on. Car's not on.
Okay.
But I was knee deep in just internet I don't need to be in.
Oh, no.
Getting messy with the likes?
No.
Okay.
No. Not getting completely. It's not a Thursday afternoon. I was not peak H. It's like the antithesis of that when it's Monday morning. But I definitely did get the text from the wife like, hey, how long you going to be out there?
Boy, Thursday is horny.
And I just realized I'm just like head down in the driver's seat. I glance at the camera and all she sees, on the camera is just me head down in the driver's seat of the car in the garage for a good 20 minutes, just scrolling on my old phone. I'm like, oh man, this does not look good.
So yeah, I was kind of thinking that you were doing some like box breathing, just really like taking some time to yourself. But no, you're just
No.
brain rotting. You're looking at what is it? What's our new one, Randy? Baby monkey?
Baby monkey. It's only you and me. I don't think anyone else in this office knows about baby monkey and the drip that baby monkey has. Baby monkey's
give
so
it about
cool.
3.5 weeks, and SNL and freaking Sports Center will be copying if it's anything like modern day memes.
I
Yeah.
love baby monkey.
Was the garage door closed or open?
It was closed, but the car was off. Like,
Right.
that is
Yeah.
one thing for sure.
Did she
was
check
not in
to
play.
see that the engine was off? Just to make sure she wasn't catching something on camera that would have scarred her for the rest of her life.
Yeah, I don't know if that went through her head. I hope
Okay,
not.
okay.
And if she did, she kept it to herself.
Right.
I'll have to rethink how I answer that question next time I do a physical.
Hey, big
How
guy,
mental
you okay
health
out there?
I hope that didn't go through her mind.
Okay.
But, yeah. Anywho, don't put a camera up in your garage if it's supposed to be like your safe place of respite to like disconnect for a second.
Have cold beers away from the fam.
Exactly.
Boy, that camera, that would be. We should have a garage cam. It's just a live feed, and listeners just get to watch. Like, as I just go out there and I just like crack one, sit down for a few, just look at my
Break
phone.
down 2 of the 30 boxes.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big. That's a big garage player. But man, our garage heats up so much, dude. It's just it's not good down here right now. Need that crispiness.
We sure do. Got a little taste
Anyhow.
of it, but not enough.
KJ was watching hoops last night. You got me watching hoops. He was like, you know what? I'm not going to get called out by Will DeFreeze on circling back this time. I'm putting out the alert that it's getting loco. Because this series, the Lynx and the Liberty, they did have some sick endings or a sick ending to a game. I think it was game 3. Had that step back to win it, seal it, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you had a clinching game, and KJ let the boys know, hey, shit's going down. I flipped it over, fully ready. By the time I saw your text, it was a 5-point game with like 2 minutes. I'm like, okay, this is doable. And then the Lynx just proceeded to not be able to put up a shot for like for the entirety of me watching it. Like, couldn't get a shot up. I'm like, what is going on? Like, just, I mean, credit to the Liberty, but
You see any yams?
No, I didn't see any yams.
No, well,
Okay.
Come on, KJ.
Jeez.
Talking about basketball yamming.
No, but I did find out after the game that there was a pretty egregious foul call that ended up sending that into OT.
mhm.
And people are calling it rigged. I went back and looked, and it is a very bad foul call. And you know what? As someone who does, I typically don't comment on WNBA matters, mainly because I haven't been watching the sport long enough to really have context. But I will say that looked rigged to me.
Oh.
Give the
was,
New York team their first title. Come on.
It was pretty tough. Fans didn't even have to throw anything on the court in order to get the call in their favor. More on that later. But yeah, full disclosure, I was about 12 minutes into Penguin when I just popped up Twitter and somebody had mentioned WNBA Finals right now is absolute cinema. And I'm like, oh shit, that is occurring. I flipped it on with 6 seconds left to go in the fourth.
Okay.
It just fired off the text blindly. Proceeded to watch a good 20 minutes of 4 to 6 points being scored.
Defensive
And
struggle.
there are times when you look at the stats after a game, and you're like, damn, I didn't realize it was that great or that bad. The Liberty they shot 30% last night. Me only watching a fraction of that game overtime in the last few seconds of regulation. Yeah, I can see they only shot 30%. Sabrina Ionescu was 1 for 20.
That's not good.
And she's one of the biggest stars in the WNBA. And this is not a trashy WNBA situation.
Oh, sure.
I was happy to be watching. But
5%. That's 5%, right?
That's good math. Yeah, that's correct.
Shooters shoot, though.
I will say this. There is an appeal to watching people be fully excited for something exciting to happen. And that's what was going on. Like the crowd was 110% into it. The vibes were at all-time high. The players were competing to the best of their abilities with what they had. There just were not shots being made.
5%
There was some good
is
defense
tough.
involved, but it was
It's tough.
rough.
Well, it's suffocating defense, David.
I mean, look, the defense was good, and then I think defense is good. I kept watching. I was wanting to see more threes because I saw that step back the other night, which was sick. And whatever, shout
You
out to
saw
Liberty.
them. You saw them go up.
I mean, I did see the attempts. Correct.
The announcer was begging for like a historic call.
Oh.
Just begging.
Oh,
And then clang.
puts it up. Oh, doesn't put it in.
What was I thinking?
Um,
Anywho, there's your WNBA segment.
baseball. We got the Coastal Elite Bowl.
Dodgers, Yankees.
There you go. Hope the big elites are happy. They got what they wanted.
I saw a tweet today that said the big Cowboys fans are absolutely torn over which team to pull for.
That's good.
You know,
That's good. Yeah.
star-studded series, West Coast versus East Coast. Two highest payrolls in the league, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I have a link here. Yeah, the payrolls for each team. So we got the Yankees at $306 million, the Dodgers at $320.9 million. The league average is $150. So we're talking about twice the league average payroll wise. So yeah, there's some talent out there, Dave.
Are we mad about that? A lot of baseball people are mad about that. Small market teams, things of that nature.
Yeah. I mean, it is tough for smaller market teams to compete with a non-salary cap league. KJ's got something.
Let me give you the rest of the list because there's a notable omission. Those are number 2 and 3.
Number 1, of course, San Diego.
The Mets.
The Mets.
The Mets.
Made it to the Final
305
Four.
milli. And then Phillies, Astros, Rangers. The BJs, the Braves, the Cubs, and the Giants round out the top 10.
I don't think we're calling them the BJs.
Call them the Blow Jays.
Pods down at 14.
Okay. Look, I don't care. I will tune in for this. If like I've been saying,
So Tawny.
Get some Soto. Maybe sip a little Sotol, if I may. A little Otani. You look,
Move some bets.
Okay.
there you go.
I see what you're doing.
Keep going. Look, it's going to be fun. I am going to be riding with, you know me. You know I'm riding West Side. If you know anything about me, you know I'm banging West Side.
You're a big West Coast
Straight
guy.
up.
Yeah.
Straight up. So,
Okay.
Otani.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to confirm whether or not we would be treated to the visual appeal of one Tyler Glasnow, but he was out for the season as of September. Because the Dodgers signed him, I should mention.
That was a good thought, though.
He is a
Needed that
Yeah.
good-looking dude.
He's a handsome, a very tall, very handsome man. A taller Killian Murphy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
The number Otani hitting. We were kicking this around. We talk sports in this office, even when we're not potting. Man, we're just we're just guys, right?
We talked.
We're podcast guys. Of course, we're talking ball.
I forgot to mention, Dave, after I won the costume contest for game day, I did hit the boom dance on stage.
Why did you? That failed to mention.
I forgot. Yeah.
Did you get a reaction from the crowd?
I think so. I was having fun.
This weekend was peak boom weekend, but we can get back to that.
It's about. They've got about a week left. People are already turning on them. I don't think I think the Rizzler's safe,
Yeah, he's trying to get a spin-off show quick. But,
and I think
we'll see.
that's in the realm of possibility. We need to get him on Hawk Tua. Not like I don't want that act. I'm just saying I want like him to go on the pond.
Dude,
Talk to him.
You,
Talk to her. But
you
if
know
it-
who's going to war with them, right?
Baby Gronk?
Of course. Like, that's got to happen. Like, he's going to talk shit about that at some point if he hasn't already.
Oh, he has.
You don't follow Hoopify? He breaks it down really well for you.
Oh my God.
He'll let you know when
Anyhow.
there's another diss. Otani, 18 for 22 with runners in scoring position.
That gets it done.
That's insane.
He's unbelievable.
I just love the guy.
Don't forget, he's going to be a pitcher again next year. I believe he's on track to.
He's not.
He's not.
He's going to be a belly itcher.
Okay.
No, go ahead. Make your point. I'm sorry.
No, I mean you get two players for the price of one. I mean, obviously he gets paid a lot of money, but yeah, he's only doing one half of what he's really good at, and he's still just like he's incredible. Never seen anything like this guy.
That's why you got to tune in, folks. I mean, look, I know we're kind of the source of all baseball stuff. We're the epicenter of baseball podcasts. But I'm telling you guys, listen to us when we say this is the World Series. If you can't tune into a Dodgers Yankees World Series, like, come on.
I will be watching.
I can't wait for the comparison to last year's World Series. I don't know if you remember this. The Texas Rangers beat the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I remember it vividly.
I bet the ratings are a little higher for this one, and just all the baseball heart. I was like, so last year it garnered a measly 4.6 on the COM score or whatever the fuck.
And as a Rangers fan,
Nielsen,
I don't care.
don't care.
Got the ring.
Still hit. Still hit, yo. You know, it's been a big hit. Go ahead.
I'll look forward to the Smoltz commentary, if nothing else. Like, I want to see who he's going to piss off because both fan bases will be loud about it and he will be skewered for it. Like, there's no hiding in this series if he doesn't bring his A game. So, assuming he's on the call, I have no idea. If it's on fucking speed television, I have no idea.
I mean, look, if you're bored with that stuff and you need some action in your life, maybe go check out our good friends at Prize Picks. How about that, Dillon?
It sounds wonderful to me, Dad.
Doesn't it?
Get a little action on a game makes any game suddenly more interesting.
Check this out. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks, please. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups stay in play. You know, I'm in a league of sorts, and I'm a Nico Collins guy, and man, is it hurting me right now?
IR.
Not great.
Tough scene.
Real tough. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. Look, man, I know it hurts you, Dillon, but Baker Mayfield's hot. He is the guy. Got him tonight. Little
I
Monday Night
understand.
Football action.
I understand it.
He's
I
real
agree.
hot.
I agree.
Like hot, like a piece of heated up cheesecake or something. Download the app today and use code DIP, D-I-P, to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. It is highly, highly recommended that you go do this right now. Download the app, code DIP, D-I-P, and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Okay? All right. Well. We had ourselves some big football here in Austin, Texas way, huh?
We did.
Man, I
did.
loved watching it on my cell phone because my
come on.
internet was out.
Really?
I had no other way. I could have watched it on my laptop, but
I thought you were going to say Mickey's Playhouse was on the big screen, and that's why. But
No,
okay.
it was not a good game watching situation. My laptop had died because I had been hotspotting it so my son could watch something. By the time I got to watch the game, it was dead and I needed to charge it. And I just was like, fuck it, I'll watch my phone.
I went to the game. Lucky enough that a ticket fell my way. Had great seats. And believe it or not, I still had a really good time at the game despite the outcome. The stadium was more electric than I've ever seen it before. I've never heard the crowd be that loud. They pulled out all the stops with the drone show and just celebs.
The luminaries.
Celebs galore.
Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell, McConaughey, Devin Booker weirdly was on the sideline.
Joe Rogan.
Kevin Durant. Drew Brees was there.
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan was there. It was crazy. A real who's who of football watchers. I don't know.
Austinites.
Sure. Not all
Austin associated minus Devin
Sure.
Booker, who
Yeah,
was
I don't-
probably just there because KD.
Yeah.
Teammates.
Good point. So I predicted, I've been saying for a few weeks that this is a game that I felt weirdly confident in. Obviously, I was wrong. The reason why I felt so confident in this game, because I've been a real believer in the Texas defense. Texas defense coming into this game was ranked number 1 in the country in scoring and total yards given up. Of course, the argument against that was like, oh, who they played, right? And that was a valid statement. Texas, by the way, is still ranked number 1 in scoring defense and still ranked number 1 in point or yards given up. The defense, and I know it's easy to look at the score of this game, like, oh, the Texas defense gave up 30 points. You know, they finally got exposed. The Texas defense played their fucking asses off, and I am still, if not more impressed with this Texas defense than I was before the game. Quinn Ewers obviously played a really poor game. The first half is the worst I've ever seen this guy play. Second half, he played better. Didn't look excellent, obviously. The worst game I've seen from him. And that's what people are talking about. What if I told you that he, statistically speaking, outplayed Carson Beck by a pretty good margin? Carson Beck, 23 of 41, 175 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Quinn Ewers, 25 of 43, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Texas defense is unbelievable. The Texas offense played so badly that it put the defense in no-win situations throughout the entire first half. They didn't have a touchdown, or they didn't have a scoring drive that went over 35 yards in the first half. They had a long one. They had a long drive in the second half that resulted in a touchdown, 80-plus yards. But overall, they gave up 283 yards to Georgia. That included 108 rushing yards, which 108 yards is, it's decent. But we're talking about Georgia here. I still love this defense so much, and that's why I was so confident in this game. What I didn't expect was the offense to just be absolutely inept the entire first half. Quinn Ewers was absolutely rattled, unsettled. I don't know if it's lingering injury issue or what it was. But like the Georgia front seven is scary. Jalen Walker, number 11, I believe. That dude is unbelievable.
He's a game wrecker.
He's a game wrecker.
Dynamite.
Let's not forget this is a Kirby Smart defense. The dude knows a little thing about some defense. He put together an excellent game plan, and they just flat out outplayed Texas. So that was very unexpected. But I'm still so impressed with this Texas defense. And look, it was 23-0 going into half, and I mean that's a blowout. That's ugly. Texas showed a lot of fight in the second half. The third quarter, they won 15-0. Try to sneak back into the game, claw their way back into the game. And I was really happy to see that. It was just, it's just they dug themselves too big a hole, but they did some nice things in the second half, and it wasn't enough, obviously. I do want to talk about, I know we're going to talk about this anyway, the very controversial defensive pass interference call with a couple of minutes left in the third quarter. I have never felt as a spectator in a stadium like it was okay. This play happened, and it felt like I was the only one in my section who watched the play develop all the way. Like I watched that entire route. I watched the play. I feel like I was the only one because the ball was intercepted. Jahdae Barron, who, by the way, is having an incredible season, returns it to, I think, the 9-yard line, and the flag's there. And everyone's like, oh, shit, pass interference. And it was really quiet in my section. I stood up, and I was like, absolutely fucking not. And people were like looking at me like, what's this guy? Like, this guy's freaking out. I was like, look, there was contact down the field that was mostly initiated by the receiver. Only Barron, the cornerback, was facing the quarterback when the ball arrived. He separated from the receiver, intercepted the pass, brings it back. It was very clearly not pass interference.
It was a bad call.
I was yelling at the top of my lungs, and I feel like I was explaining to everyone within like 20-seat radius of me why it was a bad call. I was like, no, the contact was fairly mutual, if not initiated by the receiver. I said the corner was
picturing this.
I said the corner was the only one facing the quarterback. I said, that is a terrible fucking call, and I lost my voice because of this one play. And it wasn't until, and they only showed the replay once on the screen inside the stadium.
Really?
I think because they knew it was so obvious they didn't want to like keep encouraging the fans. But they showed the replay a good 45 seconds to a minute after the play happened. And then the stadium realized, holy shit, that's a really bad call. That's when the boos came down and Sark started losing his mind on the sideline. And then, of course, the student section started throwing, beer and water onto the field, which don't exactly endorse. But in the moment, I was like, fuck yes, this is such a bad call. Make a stand. This is terrible. And the thing of it was such a game-changing, terrible call because it goes from Texas being in a position to score, which they obviously needed very badly. They had 8 points at that time. And if the call stands, of course, Georgia has a first down and the ball in Texas territory. So if that call wasn't reversed, it kind of seals the game. Like that was such a crucial play in that moment. And then 2 plays later, Texas scores and then they bring it to within, I don't know, I can't remember if Georgia had 30 at that point or not, but obviously it was a huge, huge play. And I was just like, they can't let this stand. This is an absolutely game-wrecking play for Texas. And it was a beautiful interception, a great play by Barron. But it took a few minutes for the call. Of course, they had to clean up the field.
Yeah.
And then by this time, the refs are reconvening in the middle of the field and kind of discussing man, I think we fucked that one up. I have never in my life seen a play reversed like that.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen that? I mean, it wasn't reviewed. They just talked it out for a couple of minutes. And when they started throwing shit on the field, the fans, Georgia was lining up to run in the next play. That delay clearly resulted in it.
It's really
reversal
bad
of the call, which I have never seen before. And no one could believe that actually happened. I was like, holy shit, I've never seen that in a game. Anyway, I've never felt so vindicated as like crazy fan yelling at the refs in my life because everyone's like, okay, wow, you're actually right. And I felt like supreme ball knower at the end of that situation, and it felt really nice.
So you were kind of the guy who lit the powder keg. You were kind of the instigator.
Yeah.
I was very far from the student section, by the way. They had no
Okay.
idea. But I was yelling at the top of my lungs, explaining to everyone who was like kind of confused why it was such a bad play. And I was like, yeah, see, told y'all. It was great. It was a good moment.
Yeah, that I did not expect that. That when I started seeing them throwing shit, I was like, whoa, like this seems it was a bad call. Knowing now that they only showed the replay once
One time.
really shocks me.
Yeah.
I feel like while it was a bad call, I'm not gonna say it's the worst I've ever seen. It is very, very sus. Watching it on TV, cellular device, it did look very sus. It was like that they got bullied into it.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this is such a bad look for them. It's a bad look for Texas. It's like it's a terrible precedent. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull precedent here.
And that's what Kirby Smart said in this postgame presser. He said that's a precedent. That's like a dangerous precedent to set. And he's not wrong. He kind of made some jackass comments after the game, but on that point, he was exactly right. That's not a precedent you want to set. You can't encourage fans to disrupt a game like that in a pretty dangerous way too.
Maybe just run onto the field.
I don't know. I mean, like booing only goes so far. They felt like maybe they felt like they had to do something. I don't know. I'm not
They stopped the steal.
defending the behavior, but like in the moment, I totally understood it. It's like, yeah, fuck this. This is bullshit. It was a complete game changing call in the wrong direction.
KJ, you've been out there, dude. You've been in the arena. You're the guy who's been on the field. You ever been in that position?
I feel like I've been in more competitive, like flag football situations from an intensity standpoint than I have games relative to this one. Yeah, there's nothing that can be said for the timing of it. Very unique. I've bitched and moaned about Kirby Smart all season. I'm not going to stop now. The guy's a jackass. He was right. It was a shitty call. But no part of that call was stealing the game from his team. It would have changed the dynamic of the game. No question about it. No question. And it would have been a bad call. Bad calls happen in every single game. Sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't. Because it got changed, because of how it came down, it is what it is. We didn't even go into depth about like the coach of the Lynx going all out and bitching about the Liberty getting that call and saying congrats to them for their first championship. It took them 28 years. We were about to have our fifth in 7 years or whatever the hell. Like that's ice in the veins, just cold blooded. I love it. Kirby Smart in this moment. It makes like he's right about the dangerous precedent set. But he's bitched and moaned saying everybody's against him and his team every single game. And I know it's cliche,
God.
but he's done it all year.
You guys didn't
Regardless
give us a
if he was
chance.
closer to being right here, it doesn't change the fact that this is just how the sport is. You get bad calls. You get bad replays that aren't overturned. The timing, the situation, it sucked, but nobody there was like putting their hand to the needle saying, no, we really need Texas to win. The SEC's risen to prominence without Texas. Like, they don't need Texas to win. Like, get over yourself. Like, you beat Kentucky on some, like, close calls by 1 point. So, what are you doing here?
It's a master class in coaching. Just creating that era or aura, of like a chip or like you're the underdog. It's what the greats do. I mean, the great athletes, great coaches. You got to always keep that mentality fresh. I left the game saying, I think I told you this morning. I think Texas beats them 7 times out of 10, 6 times out of 10. I think Texas is a better team. They were boned. They did not have any ground attack, which is why they tried out Arch. I kind of hated that. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah,
I did not like that move.
When you're finished, I got some things I want to say about the quarterback situation.
I think if when they see each other again, I like Texas' chances. I like Texas's defense.
It'll be closer.
It'll be closer. They just got their O-line just got overwhelmed.
Got overwhelmed, but also, and I want to talk about quarterback play for a sec. Quinn did his O-line zero favors. His pocket presence, it's like he's forgotten everything he's learned about how to maneuver in a pocket. He would just keep sinking in the pocket when it was collapsing, and he would get, like Banks gave up his first sack, I think, in his collegiate career because
that's crazy.
Quinn, there's one play I'm thinking of, like, in particular, the pocket formed and the defensive end that Banks was blocking, he went real deep, and Quinn, there's a clear pocket to step up in, and he actually had a receiver open. Instead, he just keeps drifting back, and the guy just like dives at his ankle and trips him up. He's lost pocket presence completely. His footwork has gotten so sloppy. He doesn't step into throws. He floats the ball. He has nothing downfield at this point.
Is there a thought that injury is still a thing?
Maybe
it was an ab, right, or an oblique.
He said after the game that it's still lingering. I don't know if that's an excuse or if that's actually legitimate. Because
that would make sense as to why you can't commit to a throw. If it is your core.
His longest pass play was to Matthew Golden, something like 34, 36 yards, and it was a badly thrown deep ball that he had to come back for. He just floated it.
Was that to the tight end?
No, it was Matthew Golden's receiver. He just. So benching him at the end of the second quarter, bringing Arch in, I understand why he did it. But now it's like, all right, you got this quarterback who's clearly the starter next year in Arch Manning. Quinn Ewers, he came back for the purpose of like bettering his draft stock. I'm going to play better. It's another year in Sark's system. I'm more comfortable. The offensive line is all coming back, and it looks really strong. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens if he doesn't figure it out in these next few games. He's got Vanderbilt, Florida, Kentucky coming up, not in that order. And he's got to figure it out, because if he continues to regress and look bad, benching him for Arch it's a pretty meaningful move in the whole grand scheme of things, because Quinn is supposed to go pro after this year. If his draft stock continues to plummet, what's his move? Because he's not going to be the Texas quarterback next year. He's either going to the NFL or he's going to be playing for someone else.
He's got one more year.
Arch Manning, one more year of eligibility. Arch Manning is your Texas starting quarterback next year. Like, that's in stone. Like, everyone knows it. Even if like Sark can't come out and say like, oh yeah, that's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. So he either has to put some good tape together the rest of the season, and he badly needs it, or he's going to have to transfer. Also, if that happens, Sark, who's known as
Michigan takes him in a heartbeat. Like nobody, like he'll have a million.
He'll have a spot, sure. But also Sark is known as like the quarterback guru, like developer of quarterback. Like that's one of his main selling points as a coach. And that takes a hit too. If the number one recruit, perfectly rated recruit can't, finish his career at Texas, a lot is at play here. It's pretty interesting to follow.
They'll probably start leaking like, that injury's worse off than he's saying and all that, just to protect his draft stock.
And that might not be the worst thing for them to do.
I sent that tweet in the middle of the game where the Inside Texas account said he was in the medical tent, and I kept checking to see if there's a follow up.
Yeah,
and I was like, "What? Was he just peeing or something?"
Could be a complete false narrative. I don't know, just to protect him a little bit.
There was never a follow up tweet that I saw, but go ahead, KJ.
Oh, no. I think I don't think that the risk is as monumental as it may feel. I agree the Arch future is there, but like having him leave, regardless of what he does in the next place, like even if it's a Dillon Gabriel situation where one guy leaves, your next guy doesn't pan out and he goes on to success, I don't think that would be a hit on Sark's ledger. I always go back to the whole like pre-transfer era, like, oh my gosh, why am I blanking? Cliff Kingsbury, Jake Spavital, Texas A&M room, where you lose all these quarterbacks and it like looks terrible, but at the same time, like Cliff also went to Texas Tech and had Baker Mayfield and had Pat Mahomes, like, and just recreated that magic of drawing in like top tier talent at the quarterback level and like identifying, developing, producing them. Like that never left.
Also interesting is that Quinn Ewers personal quarterback coach is the same coach is also Patrick Mahomes' quarterback coach. And Patrick Mahomes is kind of known for not having like the best footwork, but he gets away with it for having just like otherworld arm talent. Quinn doesn't have that arm talent. He has great arm talent, but interesting that like his play at times kind of resembles Patrick Mahomes when it comes to like not setting your feet and like really stepping into a throw. Quinn doesn't really he has at times and he's looked great, but he always kind of reverts back to his old self of just like kind of slinging it around.
I got Colin Simmons quiet. That'll happen.
Yeah.
I was impressed by we don't need to break down the game that much more, but like the Texas tight ends look great.
Yeah.
Like they've got some
Gunnar Helm.
Yeah.
He's making himself some money this year.
Yeah.
He looks great.
He looks great.
Yeah.
Boy, they could use old Caden Durham, that old four-star out of Duncanville.
They need a horse at running back. Of course, their starting running back blew his knee out before the season even started, which is unfortunate.
Backup.
And one of the backups.
Yeah, that's tough, especially in a game like that where like checkdowns are at a premium.
Yeah.
No, I bring up Caden Durham because LSU they're very much back in the mix, and B, three tutties, 101 yards for Duncanville's own Caden Durham, who continues to be like insane.
Thank you for that segue, because I will shift gears here a little bit for a quick truncated version of America's new favorite segment, Who's the Backest?
Hold on. Who is the backest? New sound effect.
And real quick, we will take a look at the rankings. The Big Ten's running the top three spots with Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State 1 through 3. I don't believe in any of it. Miami, I believe, is at number 5. Georgia at number 4. You can see that anywhere. Who cares? Whether or not we respect Indiana, let's save that because their schedule's pretty weak for the remainder of the year outside of Ohio State in the second to last game, so we'll have some time to talk about them. But who's the backest? 2-loss SEC. I'm sorry. 1-loss SEC is what I wanted to mention here. And the amount of 2-loss teams building up behind them, I think, is going to create some intrigue. And then you've got the Big Ten overall. So if you want to hone in on LSU, great. Georgia, Tennessee, you pick it. You've got a bunch of 1-loss teams.
Texas A&M.
Top the SEC. Texas A&M, who gets LSU this week.
Banger.
I don't know how you start divvying this up by worst loss, best win, whatever. Of all the 1-loss SEC teams, let me just read them to you really quickly, and then I'll shut the hell up. Texas A&M, 6-1, 4-0 in conference. LSU, 3-0 in conference, 6-1. Georgia, 4-1. Tennessee, so Georgia's lost to what? Bama. Tennessee's lost to Arkansas. Missouri's lost to A&M. Texas to Georgia. LSU lost to USC, and A&M lost to Notre Dame. Who do you believe in most in those 1 losses there, outside of Texas, of course?
Georgia, obviously, is going to be there.
Okay.
I'm not a full believer in Tennessee yet. I think their defense is good enough to take them to a national championship, but the offense is a little inconsistent. I'm going to say LSU and Georgia have my attention the most right now. Texas A&M is good and they're trending up, but I want to see them put a few good games together before I fully buy in.
LSU has A&M, Bama, Florida back to back to back. Florida would be a laughing stock here, except for we were praising Kentucky a few weeks back, and Florida with DJ Lagway in at quarterback controlled that entire game and looked like a Florida team. They're not going to do anything, but they looked more like a respectable competitive team on Saturday.
It would be easy for me to say LSU just because that's like a team that I've followed more than the others. But I do believe in them. But it's Georgia, even though, man, they don't have a good quarterback. He can't put a full game together.
Also pretty inconsistent. Yeah, he did not look good the other night.
So, yeah, I'm going to go with Georgia just because they appear to have Texas' defense. Best coast, best defense. Texas has got a great defense too, but I'm going to go Georgia.
I guess I don't want to mean that as like an insult. Like Sark's up there in terms of top coaches too, but Kirby Smart's got more skins on the wall currently. So
Well, yeah.
I'd put them 1 then 2. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I don't think that this speaks to like a super deep league though. You mentioned like Georgia not having a quarterback. Like I think we would set Texas aside and say top quarterback room for sure. Who's the next best quarterback on the list? Like unquestionably the next best. Jackson Dart.
Ooh,
Exactly. Like, and that should be a strong yes. If we just said it isn't Carson Beck.
That's fair.
You got 18 teams, whatever, 17 teams. Like, it's for it to be the top conference. You should clearly be able to be like, they've got this guy, and you also fear this guy. You fear these teams, but it's a quarterback game for sure.
Did I ever let one really, really sick quarter of football affect my view on a quarterback, Jalen Milroe? I was like, holy shit, he looks better needed. He's gotten better. He's athletic. He's more athletic. He's insane, unstoppable. And man, that Bama got bullied.
Listen,
their line just got smoked. Man.
Quarterback is an impossible position to be good at all the time. Anyone's gonna have their moments, But yeah, Melrose. Everyone just looks really inconsistent. All the top quarterbacks, except for Cam Ward, I guess.
Yeah,
great point. Because right now, Heisman race, Cam Ward, Ashton Genty, Boise State.
Yeah.
You know who number 3 is?
Travis
Austin Westlake's own.
Klubnik, yeah.
Cade Klubnik.
He's having a
ever
good
since
season.
that embarrassment, which who's going to sit here and say you got embarrassed by Georgia? That's like, you should never be considered again.
That should bode well for Quinn.
And they've thrown for 400 a game.
Yeah, that's interesting. That should be like by the way, like if you're a Texas offense, like you're not the only one to look absolutely bad against Georgia. I mean, like that, I forgot all about that. And he's been balling. Good for him. Is he going is he draft next year? Klubnik?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, if that's what the man up high calls upon him.
Yeah, he'll be
a
a first or second round pick, I bet. Because he has a big. I mean, he's got an NFL arm.
Okay.
He's putting together some good tape.
God, we love good tape. Do we respect Indiana? Well, it's probably time.
No.
Randy.
Let's
Just in
save
general.
that because they've got a weak schedule, and I definitely want to talk more at length about them and with some of the audio from the coach.
Look at
And I've got
Illinois
a short
too.
today, so I just don't want to go in on them right now.
Oh yeah. I forgot you're up against
yeah,
it.
no, that's on me.
Start talking about Illinois. I mean, there's Army, fucking Army, man. It's fucking Army.
Illinois. All right, they controlled the hell out of the game against Michigan. I might just be bitter for one really specific bias reason, but Illinois is now 20th, maybe 19th in the rankings. SMU was 21st in one ranking last week, and 25th in the other. Now they're 22nd in both, and Illinois jumped them. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on here, man? This is bullshit.
No, I get it. Hey,
Michigan
SMU
had 2 fumbles and a pick, blah, blah, blah.
Ponies, dude. Was that game was in? That was at
Beat
Stanford.
the piss
right?
out of Stanford. Stanford wasn't good.
I
SMU
know.
benched their starting running back for the first half. Roderick Daniels had a rough night. He muffed 2 punts, got one of them back,
Oh no.
fumbled another ball, but he also scored 2 or 3 times. They played very poorly and were easily in a position to win by 50. So they'll be okay, but they've got Duke next week and then Pitt and then, Duke and Pitt. So you turn around and win those 2. And you're seeing graphics right now saying like they're not the first 4 out of the college football playoff, but right in that next row. Like, and that's stupid to consider. Stupid.
Illinois headed to Eugene this weekend, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So there you go.
The Big Ten will sort itself out.
That'll work
There you
itself
go.
out. Okay.
Let's get some Brent Belima ball.
Fucking do it.
All right. I'm gonna vaporize.
You getting out of here?
Yeah.
We're gonna miss you.
I gotta turn to smoke. Sorry about the loss, Dylan. I definitely want to acknowledge that the group text was wildly inappropriate, but I'm happy to know you were at the game and likely not looking at your phone.
Yeah, I had no
I was
idea.
very anxious to see Will jump in out of nowhere and start talking shit.
Yeah, I knew there was nothing for me in that group text, and luckily my attention was in the
everybody
stadium.
respected the rules.
Yeah.
Until Will.
I came in and called Will out for that. Don't worry.
Randy had an MVP day from 4 a.m. to bottom. I need to say that on the wax. Like Randy won the day.
Way to go,
Yeah,
Randy.
thank you.
Fucking king shit.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Alrighty. There he goes. Hey, whoa. Hey, there we are. What?
Taking my headphones off. I don't need.
Oh, yeah, you don't
Yeah.
need them. I thought you were just done with the show.
No, I'm still here.
I'm going to keep them on.
All right.
Elsewhere in the college game, I'm so disappointed with the Bobcats, Texas State. You don't lose to fucking, no offense, Old Dominion. I know I don't have like this. Texas State does not earn the right to be like Old Dominion, but with the hype, like, come on now. You go in there and lay a turd like that on offense, that's very embarrassing. It's bad luck. Got to give a shout out to Lubbock's own Sawyer Robertson, the quarterback out around Baylor way, the transfer from
Up around Waco
Mississippi
way, huh?
State. Yeah.
Yeah.
Went out to Lubbock, went to the hometown. Got to say, if you had listened to me last week, I was all over this. I knew Baylor was going to go in there, and I thought they would play them very close. I did not have blowout in the cards, but yeesh.
Game was in Lubbock.
Game was in Lubbock.
Yeesh.
It's insane. Baylor ran the ball at will. Haven't been able to say that in a long time. And just that was just one of those games where you see a team just. I think Tech just didn't take Baylor seriously, and Baylor's got a good quarterback, and Baylor would be thought about in much different terms if they had named him the starter at the beginning, coming out of camp, because they had to. I guess they had to name the other dude with the NIL kid because he was their first big get with NIL money. But man, it's good to see. So I guess Aranda lives to see another day. I don't know what's going to happen. They got to win like 3 of the next 5 to make a bowl.
And Tech was having a decent season before
One
that,
loss,
right? Yeah.
It feels like more because they almost lost to Abilene Christian. Shout out to
that's
Abilene
right.
Christian.
That's right.
Week 2 or whatever it was. But yeah, Tech was right there in the conversation. Probably need to give props to Illinois State or Iowa State, excuse me, as they continue to rise. And Matt Campbell, much as I hate it, they look very well rounded. And BYU survives. So Big 12, kind of weird, interesting. See BYU, Iowa State being your.
Big 12 is so interesting now.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know how much NFL you watched. I guess we had that Lions Vikings game was great. I didn't get to watch a lot of it.
Goff is playing out of his mind right now. He's playing out of his mind. The ball is just not hitting the turf. I mean, he's incredible.
He is peaking.
Yeah.
And I kind of forgot all about their best player having his knee snapped or his leg snapped last week and not even being available.
Yeah,
and they still went on the road and took down the undefeated Vikings.
Yeah.
Speaking of injuries, you saw Deshaun. It's officially a ruptured Achilles.
Yeah, done for the year and maybe done. I don't know. He wasn't playing well before that, obviously. And the fans in Cleveland decided to boo him.
Yeah.
Or actually, more accurate to say, they celebrated his injury.
That's tough.
And I saw someone on Twitter make a very good point. And they said, these fans didn't hate him until he started playing bad football.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Like, you didn't care about the other stuff because you wanted a good quarterback.
Yeah.
But now that he's, turns out, not playing well, you're happy to see him go. And that's unfortunate. I don't think he deserved that.
It's tough because, like, sorry for the yawn. You have a number like 20-something. I don't even know what the number is. Accusations. It's a lot. Yet you're still able to play, and it's just like,
See,
I don't feel bad for him.
No,
but it is weird to see a fan base boo or cheer, I guess, when somebody ruptures their Achilles, like a carted off injury.
yeah. And seeing his teammates defend him, like very sincerely defend him, it I don't know. It says a little something for him, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not saying forget his past, obviously. Like, pretty terrible stuff. But yeah, to see his teammates defend him like that, it's like, okay, he's in the locker room. He's probably a pretty good presence.
I didn't think he was, but apparently, I mean, I don't know if
Yeah.
that's just what you have to say when that happens, but like, there's video of him like a couple weeks ago. Like, I don't know if he was quitting on the team, quitting on a coach, walking off when there's some weird shit.
That was explained.
Was that explained?
Yeah,
okay,
because
good.
they had 12 men on the field, and he knew that there was nothing they could do. So he walked to the coach and was like,
Okay.
we got 12 men. So he just walked to the sideline. Yeah,
Good to know. I had that wrong.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, fuck that guy.
But Myles Garrett was the one I'm thinking of in particular, who was like, this is a good guy, and y'all did him wrong.
Yeah, it's a really awkward position for a teammate.
Yeah.
Because like you can't be like, hey, we appreciate you guys for cheering. You know what? We didn't like the guy either.
Yeah.
You just got to say, you got to just go out there with a canned answer if you're on that team and be like, it's really unfortunate. It's never good to boo it when someone gets hurt.
Yeah.
But a lot of those guys stumbled their way through. What was the Myles Garrett quote? Like, you know, he had a line. It probably won't age well. But the whole thing is bizarre. It's honestly bizarre that he's even playing. So,
Yeah. Agreed.
Cowboys had a bye, so hey, man.
Yeah. So Sunday was pleasant.
It was a nice little Sunday, other than me just watching TV on my cell phone.
Well, speaking of injuries, did you see Brandon Ayuk is out for the season?
That's tough. It is ACL.
And ruptured knee. I don't know.
Oh.
Sauce is outside.
Wow.
He just texted me that it just confirmed 16 minutes ago.
Breaking sauce.
He said he's down to talk about it if need be.
By the way, since we started recording, Matthew McConaughey, of course, is the Minister of Culture for the University of Texas.
That's what he is. Yeah.
Has released a statement regarding the beer and water throwing incident at DKR.
We were waiting for this.
I'll just get to the he said, this is 3 paragraphs in. He said, let's get real about the bottle bombing and field glitch we had. Not cool. Bogey move. Bogey move. So he is condemning the act. So good on you, McConaughey.
Okay.
It's a bogey move, Dave.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
God, dude, the potential of him. Like, imagine a Miami Texas playoff game, and on one side you got McConaughey, and the other side you got the playmaker, 88 over there on all fours. Oh my
Who
God!
just has all the energy in the world.
We need those two. Have we had that yet? Have we had those two
I
like
don't
nose to
think
nose
so.
at midfield? I don't know when.
I don't know when those teams have ever played each other.
But
actually.
that's got to happen. Oh my God! You didn't know that. You weren't watching the game on TV. They showed McConaughey way too much.
Did they?
It was borderline Taylor Swift. Like, they would just show him on the sideline, and he's like got to have like that face where he clearly knows the camera's on him, but he's just like looking out and he's like doing his, it's like, come on, man.
Glenn Powell was there too, just looking handsome as fuck.
You look great.
God.
You look great.
Too good looking, that guy.
Just some luminaries.
Yeah.
I mean, Glenn Powell all the way up into the zeitgeist, right, Randy?
Oh yeah,
He's pretty geisty.
He's geisty.
he's geisty.
Straight
Yeah,
up
he's coming out on
geisty.
Zeitgeist.
You been following John Gruden's TikTok?
No.
Okay, you should check it out. It's kind of a nicey.
with his Chucky shirt.
It's a nicey, Dillon.
It's nicey.
It's a nicey?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's his signature. That's his thing.
Oh.
That's a nicey.
I was unaware.
Check it out. You'll be seeing a lot of it.
Okay.
It's a little ominous, this whole vibe. But
Yeah, of course.
You want to run it back? You got anything else you want to
No.
tap into?
I've said, I think, everything I've needed to say. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Getting some things off my chest here.
Do it.
Oh, Texas, their goals are still on the table. Got to play better ball, though. And that's it.
Run back. Run it back.
Yeah, let's run it back. Of course, that is a segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. A very short one this week, as I had a lot to say. Thursday is a horny day, we decided.
It's true.
Monday, not so much. 1 for 20 from the field is the same as 5%. Baker Mayfield is hot like a piece of heated up cheesecake, Dave said.
Real ones, no.
Oh, what does that mean?
I don't know either.
Allegedly met a young lady on Snapchat in the Cheesecake Factory parking lot for some oral sex.
Oh, okay.
Right when he got to, who drafted him? Cleveland?
Cleveland drafted him, yes.
Yeah.
And
She
finally,
told everybody about it.
Dillon is a nicey.
There it
as a
is.
late ad from our friend Dave. And that concludes Run It Back.
All right, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
When my team wins a big game, it's good. But when my team doesn't win the big game, you better look out, Buster. I'm a loose cannon. This is not good at all.